Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lore Keeper Show. I, of course, am your Lore Keeper, Trevor, and last time on Twisted One-Shots, our heroic monster species were able to stop the siege on the Vampiric Empire. But what could await them today in the Hat, in Episode 7? For today's twist is the All-Monk One-Shot. Yet another idea created by myself. So let's dive in. This is a level 8 one-shot, and this story takes place on the islands of Iris, the home of the peaceful flower, and part of the islands of ancient skies. However, something has disturbed the peace of the island of Iris, as there is a new fear that the sacred flower may get infected by a disease that is surrounding the outer area of the islands. If this disease reaches the middle of the islands, it will consume the flower and will be lost. The only question on everyone's mind is, who can stop this disease? Well, let's hope our party is the who. In this episode of Twisted One-Shots.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lore Keeper Show. Yes, indeed, we have 3 screens, but today everyone is still here. Yes, this is episode 7 for the All Monks one shot. We have Luke, Stella, and Atticus using their focus points instead of their key, or we can call. I don't know. Doesn't really.
I didn't use the new stuff, so
Yeah.
I still have points.
I don't know what I used. I need to be beyonded.
Either one, they're the same thing. They're just a little bit differently named and a little bit differently used.
Oh, that's a
Have
cute.
focus.
That's a cool little thing we could do. If you use like the old stuff, you can. It's like you're an older person who isn't catching up with the new stuff. So I'm old. So I'm old.
It would be really funny because the idea behind that is someone says, so for example, like Twitter and X, and someone's like, "Oh, you tweeted." No, you put a post up on
That's
X.
exactly what it is. So people that use focus points make fun of the people who use key points just because they use key points.
Wait, so your character's gonna make fun of me the whole time?
Yeah, that's gonna be so fun.
Wait, old.
Oh boy.
When you do see my character, it definitely looks like someone that makes fun of everyone else.
All right. So, with that in mind, as I've already mentioned, our story takes place on the islands of Iris. It's a very peaceful island, and it's the home of the peaceful flower. However, the flowers have recently been consumed by this disease that is like reaching over all across the land, and it could very well infect the sacred peaceful flower. And you guys are the protectors of said flower, so you don't want that to happen. So how will you stop said disease? Well, before we get to you guys even hearing about this disease, we're gonna do a little backtracking for your characters. Let's start with Atticus. What were you doing before you heard about the disease?
Probably meditating.
Okay.
I am a monk after all.
Yeah, you're meditating. Can you describe yourself and also name your character?
About 6'4", pretty tall.
Jesus Christ.
Kind of a quiet-looking fellow. And in fact, he is very quiet because he has no mouth. It has been sewn shut during the war. His name is a secret that has been long forgotten, and he's very devoted to the way of the monk, but he does not say any of the prayers because he can no longer speak.
Okay. All right then. And then as you're like praying, you're not really speaking it, kind of just like in your head the thoughts, and you you see this like very quick like kind of like speed run of what the future holds, and it's kind of this just like all of a sudden you see like all the grass and all like the trees and everything start like dying, and all of it like becomes like this like shoveled up thing, similar to how winter works but way worse.
Yeah.
If there's never been any rain for like years on end. And as this happens, like the flower kind of like the peaceful flower kind of breaks and and like shovels up, and as that happens, people from everywhere start to um, recklessly kill each other, as peace is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
And wars begin again as the islands of the ancient skies begin to recreate a battle that happened decades ago,
Yeah.
or centuries ago even. Um, with that in mind, you kind of like open your eyes after like seeing this,
Yeah.
and yeah, you kind of realize that this is possibly something that could happen, and you know that you need to find what is called the golden fungicide canister that gets rid of any diseases that are like around plants and stuff, and so you know that that's what you must find.
Yeah.
Which means that you probably have to talk to the leader of your monastery in order to figure out where it is.
I see what you did there. That might be an issue. He knows ASL though, so it's okay.
Yeah. Going next to Luke.
Yes.
What were you doing? And please describe your character for us.
Magic Pete.
Hmm.
At least that's what everyone calls me. I'm really just Pete, but everyone calls me Magic Pete. Because magic. You go ahead and pull up my picture. I sent it to you.
Yep.
Magic Pete. You want to share it on the screen? Is there a way to do that?
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Magic Pete.
Oh god. What was that a picture of?
There you go.
Yeah. Magic Pete.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
So, okay, funny story. For that, I just looked up average guy with elf ears. That's what I wanted. I looked up average guy with elf ears, went to images. You can do that, and he's there. He's like the first one.
Wild.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy's gonna be like super excited if he sees his picture on this channel. I was doing nothing. Napping.
Just asleep.
Average guy.
Asleep. Yes. Oh, okay, I'm an elf, in case you didn't get it from the ears. Monk, obviously, that's the twist. And I can do magic. That's my character. Anyway, I was sleeping.
Okay. Yeah, you were dozing off, and while you're dozing, it's just like a lovely, nice sleep. And as you're sleeping, you're just thinking about like everything nice that's in your life. You wake up, and then as you look, like you have a couple like potted plants in your room. They're very nice potted plants. And as you look at them, they're all dead.
Oh, yeah.
You've been watering them periodically, but today they all died.
Oh,
And it kind of smells in a weird way like burned like ash.
gnarly.
God. How high are you?
Good. How are you?
Huh?
You.
Whoa. What's that smell? Oh, God.
Oh boy.
This is gonna be a great session.
There's a different universe version of Luke where he became a smoker. And this is what Luke is embodying right now. Is an alternate reality where Luke became a smoker. This ash that you kind of like see and smell from your plants, it's not normal, and even not normal to like this kind of like high phase that you're kind of always in. And it's kind of whack, bro.
Oh, oh my god, I'm cringing. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Man, that's some nasty. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not at all the vibe you want in your home.
It's not vibing.
Nope. Not jiving with it at all, and so instead you kind of realize you gotta get this cool urban legend canister that's gonna really help everything be totally chill.
Whoa. Tell me, what is this canister?
It's called the Golden Fungicide Canister,
Oh.
and it's
Golden.
gonna help everything chill out like the smooth waves.
Ooh, yeah.
And
Gnarly.
you're just gonna hear this in your head, just kind of like a yeah, and you realize you have to go to your leader, the cool guy who always
The what?
the cool guy who leads your monastery.
Oh, my dealer?
Yeah, your dealer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you see, we kind of start. So I started just as like a. You know, I like to do some stuff. But anyway, it kind of started when my dealer, that guy, Phil, he just decided to, kind of chill out. And then ever since then, he's been kind of like, uh, I don't know, he's been getting all into this religion. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to join it. So that's what I did. And I joined, he calls it like a monasterian or something like that. Monasterium. That's where I live now. So yeah, I'll go up to him. I say, "Hey, Phil."
Yes.
Yeah.
So you go up,
Yes.
and then a little bit more time. Let's go a little bit back. Stella, if you would.
Akita Thornberry. She's a UNT monk, and she's just she's an older-ish woman who's not like understanding the new terms for all of the things that these young people are doing.
Well,
So,
yeah, because you were taught a
key
long
point.
time ago. Yeah, and you were taught
I
that's
was
how it
a
works.
long time ago. I was taught the original words for things,
Mhm.
and now you'll have these weird new things that she's not understanding. But she's a very good woman. She just doesn't understand what the hip new kids are doing.
And some of them that you've been teaching have been saying the word focus points, and you're not entirely understanding what it means. You're getting that it might be similar to key points, but then they mention something else, and you're like, wait, but that's not what I do. But that's not how. And you're like so lost. It's like a new slang term comes about that means the same as another one, but it's way different.
It's used in the same context, but it means a very different thing.
Exactly. Kind of learning this, and you hear kind of like outside, there's like a snapping sound.
I immediately jump up and see if something's wrong with my monastery.
You see outside a tree just kind of falls down, and
Okay.
as the tree hits, like there were still a lot of leaves on the ground. As the tree hits the ground, all the leaves die. So it's not like there's a tree blocking the way as much as there's a shiveled tree blocking the way that's not really blocking much. And there's also outside a lot more plant life is starting to shrivel up, and like kind of this like ash smell starts to be more palpable. And you remember that this happened once before, but it wasn't as bad. Like it wasn't causing this kind of problem immediately. It was less problematic, in fact. You remember that there was like one of the old islands of ancient skies that decided to like send a disease throughout the entire forest, and it really didn't affect much. It in fact only affected these 3 trees, um, who coincidentally just kind of all fell on each other. And there was only one person who ended up dying, because a tree fell in this weird way where it like kind of swung and hit him in the gut, and he flew into the river and drowned. I think something along the lines of Craig. I don't remember exactly. The legends are old. Uh, and um, the um, but it wasn't that dire as it is now, because you could see how much of the trees and how much destruction is happening. And so you realize that, like everyone else, you kind of should go to the leader of the monastery. So you all go, and kind of how these monasteries works in this area, which is of course the Islands of Iris, is that there are multiple different monasteries, but there's also the head of kind of all monasteries, just to kind of like keep everything structured a little bit. None of them have to follow the same kind of like exact point to point like rules. So like some of them can have different rules a little bit, but as long as like things are kind of kept
Do as much weed as you
unified-ish. What'd you say?
like do as much weed as you want as a rule in my monastery.
Exactly. But as
Yeah.
long as there's some kind of connection to the original monk, kind of general vibe, I guess, not vibe, general customs, yeah, customs, then you're fine. And so
Yeah,
that's
because
kind of how it works. And as all of you, oh, did you have something to say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, because Magic Pete's monster is probably more new and has like newer like terms, and mine's like one of the older monasteries who like we don't use as much of the new stuff.
hmm And Atticus's is more of the silent monastery. Pretty much everyone there is also silent or has adapted to the ways of learning sign language and stuff. Which I'm so glad is a new language in D&D. I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
fucking
so
glad.
I love it.
All of you kind of get to the leader, and he's actually already. You see, there's kind of a lesson that's already started, about the golden fungicide canister. And he sees you 3 come up. You guys have kind of become very like prominent in your monasteries, for like being able to help with different things. You fought in the war, Atticus, and like both of you were kind of like, um,
I'm the only one in my monastery.
yeah, you're the only one in your monastery besides Phil.
Yeah. It's just
And
me and
so
Phil. We decided to create a monastery together.
And
Hell
so
yeah.
like
Somehow it's like a part of the actual monastery system.
yeah.
Just do weed. That's the one rule. Do weed.
Yeah, well, there's obviously like in order to have the monastery, you had to also accustom to some of the other rules, and it's like
Yeah, like, we all know how to fist fight and everything.
yeah, exactly. But
But like weed.
and then
Yeah.
you get there, and he kind of like he's teaching these other ones, and then he notices you guys and lets his kind of like other kind of like sub-in monk leader teach the rest of them while he goes specifically over to you guys. And he says, "All right, hello." And he also sees Atticus. What was the name of your character? Oh wait, you don't have one, right? Okay, lost the time, right? Is it just kind of lost to time?
Yeah, he's very old.
Right.
He's an elf, I think. So, without him speaking, it's kind of been lost to the ages.
Yeah. All right. He sees all three of you, notices the silent, like the stitched up mouth, and kind of is like, "Oh, is anyone here who can help translate? Oh, thank you. Um, basic idea is that the golden canister is meant to get rid of all of the disease that's been put into the known area, especially considering that our islands are connected, both spiritually and a little bit physically. There's some connection between them, mostly underneath, and by that he means underneath the water. Um, and he mentions, but to kind of go a little bit on my point, the golden fungicide canister is the only thing that can help us this time around. And it's blocked by a test. There should be when you get there. There should be a female centaur, with who is connected to one of the only female monasteries. And by that he means is that there's a specific monastery that is just all female.
Right.
Instead of meaning that there is only one monastery that allows females. Um, it's more just this monastery has a bunch of women, and that's the only people they allow in.
The patriarchy.
Yes. And he kind of Islands of Iris are not that hard to navigate. And so it doesn't. He gives you the map. And it doesn't. It takes you like a couple hours to actually reach the specific monastery. If there's anything any of you would like to talk about, minus Atticus, for like you can do sign language stuff, but if there's anything you guys would like to kind of have a conversation about, you can do that while you're going along your way.
So does anyone else have any other concerns?
Where the weed at?
Excuse me, weed?
Yeah, you know.
I don't actually. I never done a. I've never. No.
You want some?
No,
think I've got
I
some
don't.
back here.
No,
Let
I
me
don't
see
want
if I
any.
can,
No, thank you. I'd rather
Oh
not.
yeah, I found some.
I'd rather stay clean.
You want any, my silent friend?
My mouth is sealed shut.
That's what he signs.
Oh, he just said his mouth is sealed.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I guess that would make it kind of hard to smoke then. All right.
As you're you're put in all the weed stuff up, roll me a sleight of hand.
20.
So yeah, you're holding it, and you actually do a pretty good job of like, kind of like even in this like high-ish state, you do a pretty good job of making sure that it doesn't touch the ground. in any way, because even in this state, you kind of realize that if it does, something bad will probably happen to your stash, and you don't want anything bad to happen to your stash. And so you make sure not to drop it, as this kind of like happens. And as you're going along, there's kind of like, as you get closer, there's a lot less destruction to the wildlife, because the kind of like disease hasn't reached this area. In fact, it seemed to start where a lot of you guys were, and it hasn't really reached this specific area. And as you get closer, you begin to see a lot more women, and there's a couple of female elves just kind of talking to each other. There's one you see one like this one guy who, as he begins to like walk over and like has like this kind of like swagger, kind of weird, very bad vibes for you know, magic people to understand what I'm trying to say. Very bad dude walks over to these female elves and just immediately gets stabbed. Like it's like, nope, not having this today. Like, nope, we know what you're gonna try and do. Immediately gets stabbed by all three of them. So they're kind of a little bit cautious of certain people, as you can see. And then you get to the monastery itself, which is this very kind of beautiful orange and yellow colored monastery on the outside. And you see this female centaur, and she's got like this long kind of like bamboo type staff that she's kind of twirling around, and then sees the three of you. Oh, hello. I believe you are the three who are meant to get the canister, right?
I nod.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
I nod.
Yes, we are.
Well, there's something you must know. You see, and there's a and she walks through the monastery, and there's a section of the monastery that's kind of sectioned off with this big door. And inside, anyone who wants to give me a perception.
11.
21.
18.
18. So, the 11 doesn't do much, but with the 18 and 21, you guys do hear this, like, snarling, and almost a whimper inside of the room. Kind of something like almost sad but angry at the same time. In the room, and as you listen to that, you also see that she says, "There's a test that you have to complete in order to get the canister. None of us know how to complete it. We weren't the ones who made the test. There's ancient ancestors that we have that made it, and they were meant to keep the actual answer hidden. In order to get the golden fungicide canister, you have to take the test, and there's only one clue." And she gestures to a little note that's kind of like in a scroll format that's attached to the door. Do any of you take it to read it?
Yes.
Okay. You take it. The two of you kind of read over his shoulder. the words to you, Magic Pete, are kind of like weirdly dancing a little bit. You're starting to get that like high point. So the words are kind of just dancing. And as you, it's still easy enough to make out, and it says, inside of inside of this room, there is a dragon. He is our pet, and he protects the canister. However, if you are a true monk, you know that there are more ways to save the day than killing. And that's kind of where it ends. And she says, if you are all ready, you may enter.
I enter.
I enter.
I follow.
You all enter, and you see a giant adult silver dragon.
Oh.
Oh, God.
In his, like, just like in the room. But before the battle starts, I want any of you, you can either give me a perception or investigation check.
I did a 21 perception.
21 perception, Luke.
24 perception.
24 perception, and Stella.
Poor investigation.
4 investigation. So, with the 4 investigation, you're looking. You haven't seen a lot of dragons, and so looking at this dragon is just like, oh goodness, that's. And you're just kind of looking more at the dragon than anything else in the room. Luke and Atticus, you guys look at the dragon, and then your eyes float down. And I'll go to Atticus first. You see chains that are trapping the dragon's feet. And so basically everything that would allow the dragon to move, like his wings and his legs, and even a little bit his tail, are all trapped in these chains, which you can tell only really allows him to kind of reach in this kind of 20-foot radius. He doesn't really have much kind of movement, and so anytime he like growls or like kind of like when a dog who's trying to like bite at someone gets like held back by the chain that's on like a fence or something, similar to that, of just like ruff, ruff, and it's not really allowed to move much. Luke, even in this kind of like high state, you notice that like these chains are not allowing for like much movement for this creature, and also like they're stronger than a lot of normal chains. Normal chains don't really have much, for D&D terms, they don't really have a high AC and a high hit points. But these chains are ancient and kind of a little bit magical, you can tell. But I'll know for Stella, you're not seeing this at all. You're just seeing a dragon and not really any way else to get rid of what's protecting the golden canister other than to get rid of the dragon. Luke, with that check, you can see there's some kind of like magical invisible wall between the dragon himself and the canister.
Okay.
And with that, I'm going to ask everyone to roll initiative. Yeah, there's no battle map for this, but the dragon is about, I would say, like 30 feet away. And there's chains on its legs, back legs, and wings. But Stella, I will mention, you do not see those chains.
Yep.
So Atticus, you are first up.
Animal handling it is what I'm gonna try to do.
All right, that will take an action.
Okay.
What are you gonna do for your animal handling?
I'm just gonna like slowly approach it, you know, not trying to freak it out, just like you would do sort of a nervous dog.
Okay.
And just like put my hand out to it, try to make friends with it.
All right.
I'm gonna help him with that.
Okay, I will say this.
Yeah.
If you do, and this is just for like kind of flavor stuff, so that we can kind of have this happen, you can help. But I'm going to say that you will not be able to use a reaction for this round, this whole round. It will take away your reaction.
Okay, so it's using my reaction. Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so you can roll an extra d20 and do your animal handling now.
I get advantage.
Yeah, you get advantage.
It's good because the first one was a 7. And that's an 18.
18. By the way, Luke, what were you doing to help?
I'm approaching it with him. I'm like, so he's going like, here, calm down. I'm basically doing the same thing except in a more like high way. So like, hey, chill out, bro. Come on. I walk up. I'm gonna go up, try to put my hand on it, and just like, try to calm it.
Great. Yeah, you do that. And you're both just like kind of calming the dragon down. The dragon's like kind of just like a little bit less angry. You just kind of hear this. You didn't expect it to speak. Help! You realize that also, as well as being trapped like that, you notice that as it like speaks, it kind of like gasping for like being able to like speak and breathe, and you realize that like there's something magical hindering him as well in like the throat, which you would understand because it's a dragon and they have breath weapons. So hindering pretty much everything that makes the dragon able to like injure any. It still can in some ways, but hindering it in certain ways to make it less dangerous. But also possibly soon not be able to live anymore because breathing is necessary for any creature. And you still have a bonus action. You took some movement to go up to the dragon, I presume, right?
Alright, I don't have any reaction, so yeah, I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Yeah, you use your turn to do that. The dragon seems a lot calmer, but is still, captured. And with that, after you is gonna be Luke.
It's my turn. Okay. I'm gonna... Okay, how close am I to the dragon now? Since I've been walking, I used my reaction to do animal handling. I'm just gonna say I also used my movement then to get up to where Atticus is. So I'm like right up near the dragon.
Yeah, so you use 30 feet.
I used 30 feet of movement. Okay, I have 15 feet of movement to the left. How far, Okay, just give me a sense of where everything is. Where is the magical barrier? Is it behind the dragon? It's behind the dragon. How far behind the dragon?
So, the dragon's here. You guys were back here, which is about 30 feet away. Behind the dragon, about, I would say... Yeah, 10 feet behind the dragon is this barrier, and then behind that barrier, like basically 5 feet behind it, is the canister.
Okay, I'm going to Misty Step through the barrier and get to the canister.
Through the barrier?
Yes.
Roll me an intelligence save.
An intelligence save.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, yeah, I know you're the DM, but like, it's not like I'm going through the barrier. So any effects that the barrier would have if you just like walked through, those wouldn't happen. I'm literally.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that. You appear on the other side, and as you appear on the other side, you need to roll an intelligence save.
Okay. Nat 1.
Okay. You're on the other side of the barrier, and then, kind of like the dragon sees you do that. And when the dragon put out its like kind of pieces that had the chains on it, the dragon thought you would help. And when you turned and did not, the dragon felt a little bit sad.
Well, shoot.
And as like you failed this intelligence save, so you didn't really realize how this would affect what you did previously.
Yeah.
And as you're like, you see the dragon, you're like, your brain kind of like slowly notices, and you're like, oh, dang it. And as you're like leaning your head back, your hair and a little bit of your like forehead leans back into the barrier, and you suffer.
Yeah.
You suffer.
you suffer. No, you suffer 3 points of psychic damage, and then you flee on the other side of the barrier. You just feel your body, and you're just kind of standing on the other side of the barrier as you take 3 points of psychic damage.
Karate chop. Not the dragon, but the dragon's chains.
Okay, so you're close enough to either the ones that are attached to the 2 legs, or the smaller one that's attached to the tail.
Okay, I'm gonna try to, like,
Break out the tail.
Yeah, it's my chain.
Alright.
10.
A 10 misses.
It misses. Okay. I have another attack. I have extra attack.
Right.
Again, nat 20.
That does hit.
Crit. Let's go. Is 19.
19 damage. Nice. And at the end of your turn, it is the silver dragon's turn. So, it notices you're doing that. It tries to, like, it can move its tail just a little bit to where the chains, lift at the point that you're trying to break. And basically, it's trying to use a tail attack against itself in a weird way. It tries to lift the tail up, and it gets yanked back into place almost. But even with that natural one of yanking back into place, since the tail is the closest thing to the barrier, it does hit the barrier just a little bit. So as well as the dragon taking damage from hitting the barrier is also going to take damage.
Oh, okay.
So both of them are going to take damage for this. Barrier is going to take 13 points of bludgeoning damage. And then the dragon is going to take 9 points of psychic damage. So the dragon like feels these chains and it's just so annoyed and like can't break out, and so it tries. Some of you would know with silver dragons, they have the ability to polymorph. And so it's trying to polymorph into a different creature. And it's going to make a special type of saving throw. It's going to be a wisdom. So it tries, and it like really wants to like break out of these chains, and so it like uses its like one of its like inner kind of like species traits to chains, and instead of like doing much, like change most of its physical state, what it is able to do is change their kind of like traits and species stuff just enough to where you see Atticus sees this more because you're up close to like kind of the dragon. This
Yes.
magical stone kind of like falls to the ground and shatters. And frees the dragon's kind of breath and just like takes like this gigantic breath in and then out. And it's able to like breathe and talk normally again. So the polymorph didn't exactly like the polymorph was gonna work, but like the chains were keeping it in the same kind of physical position. But because so much was happening,
The stone came out.
exactly, the throat was kind of expanding and despanding, and the stone was kind of like lodged in a very specific way, so it had to pop out. So it's still a silver dragon, but now the breath weapon is free, and it's able to breathe. And with that, it is Stella's turn. With all that's been happening, you kind of realize, oh, this dragon's captured, not trying to hurt anyone, really.
And I'm gonna use my big club twice to get the chains. The first one is an 8, so that won't wait. 9. That doesn't do anything. 13?
13 also misses.
Damn it. Alright, yeah. I can do. As a bonus action, I'm gonna do an unarmored strike.
Okay.
14!
What'd you say?
14! God damn it! Yeah, no, I did all I can do.
Alright. Yeah, you try everything. These chains are really, really strong. With that, going back to the top of the round, it's Atticus. And you just saw the stone pop out and break.
I was just gonna ask, was the stone the same thing that created the barrier?
Roll me a Arcana check with advantage.
All right. I like that. So 22.
22. You see that the barrier, when the stone shattered, the strength of the barrier is a little bit less.
Okay.
And it seems to be cracking.
Okay.
So it's a little bit damaged by what just happened.
Well, I'll help it along by just like punching.
So you will have to move to get to the barrier.
Yeah. It's a 14.
14, that will hit.
And that's 10 damage.
10 damage, okay.
25
25 will hit.
for another 11 damage.
Okay.
And then I'll Fury of Blows for 2 more attacks.
Alright, go for it.
That's 26.
That will hit.
Okay. And that's only 7 damage.
Okay.
And that's a 20. And that's 6 damage.
As you're like hitting it, it's like cracking a little bit more. And you also notice that as that happens, that polymorph spell that the dragon was trying to do actually starts to work.
So
And the dragon begins to start to change. And you see that as it does, the wings of the dragon begin to like instead of being like big silver wings, they are now big fiery wings.
So he's a Balor now?
He's trying his best to turn into a phoenix, is what you can tell. So it's trying to turn into a phoenix, and the only thing that seemed to work was the wings. And
Right.
so the wings are now free. But all the chains fall on the wings. And so the wings are now free. but the legs are still trapped, and the tail is too. With that, it is Luke's turn.
Okay. I'm gonna keep trying to break the chain that I started before.
Yeah, with the tail? Alright, go for another attack against it for me.
27.
Damn!
7. That will hit.
Perfect. It's 8 damage to that one.
8 damage, you said?
8 damage.
Okay. It's still there.
Still there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Going to use extra action. 16.
16 hits.
It is 11 damage.
11 damage. Still up, but could be broken on this next one.
Okay.
Kill it.
Yeah, Fury of Blows. Kill the metal. Fury of Blows. Yeah, so this is my bonus action. First one is a 25.
That will hit.
8 damage.
Still up.
And that one.
That one misses. You try with all your you feel that you're breaking the chains. You're like, this is gonna work. This last, and you pull and you snap your hands back into each other a little bit. And you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as your hands hit each other. The dragon is gonna go. The dragon who has now phoenix wings. And, with those wings, he's still gonna try and move the tail. With full attack. Does, in fact, hit the chain. So it's like, it just kind of, dragon snaps the chain with dealing 12 points of damage to it. As it snaps the chain, the tail morphs into a phoenix tail. And so now it's the body of a silver dragon with phoenix wings and a phoenix tail. This is the weirdest version of polymorph that any of you have seen.
We need fan art of that.
It's going to use another tail attack to help you guys with the barrier. Oh, Atticus, I forgot to do this because I forgot something about the barrier. Can you roll me an intelligence saving throw?
Sure. Give me a sec.
Yep.
Well, that's great fun.
2.
2. You fail. As you're hitting the barrier with all of those different attacks, you suffer 7 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
Doing all that stuff. Dragon does hit the barrier with the tail, so that's gonna deal 15 damage to the barrier. Bludgeoning damage for reference. And then it has to roll a saving throw. With a 21, it saves, so it doesn't take any damage as it hits the barrier. And the barrier is looking a little bit more cracked, but is still up. And after that is going to be Stella.
Exact same thing as last time. 2 great club, bonus action, 2 unarmored strike. 19.
19 hits.
And that's 3 bludgeoning.
Okay.
The next one is a nat 1.
That one misses you. It's a great club, right?
Yep.
Oh no.
It's just like splinters. The club breaks on impact.
Oh. So
It
I
now
don't have that anymore.
No, it's there. It just deals less damage. Reduce the die by 1. So the type of die. That's a D4 now, I'm assuming.
It's a D6 now.
D6
D6. Okay.
for the D8. And then
Hey, at
two
least I
on
didn't
a
break it, right? I didn't make you lose it.
Yeah.
21.
21 hits.
And that's 2 bludgeoning. 12.
12
Yeah.
misses. And at the end of that, it is going to be back to Atticus.
Okay, I will carry out the same series of actions I did before.
Go for it.
21
21 will hit.
and a 23.
23 for the damage.
Oh no, I'm gonna do the damage afterwards.
I would prefer it first, just because.
Okay. Alright.
Just because depending on how much damage you deal, you could like destroy
Yeah.
the thing, and I don't.
So that's 16 damage for the first 2 hits.
For both of them?
Yeah, combined.
Yeah. Oh, combined. Okay.
And then that's 16.
16 will hit.
That's 10 damage.
10 damage. As you do that 10 damage, while the barrier is still there, it cracks a lot more, and the chain, the one next to, so for example, Stella, you were at this one, the one on this leg, and the one behind that, both break. And now, because of that, there is no, because of the way that this works, it's turning into a phoenix, and phoenixes only have 2, like, talons. The leg is kind of gone. The first front leg and the back leg turns into a smaller, like talon.
Chicken.
So it's this weird thing where like half of its body is a phoenix, and then the wing here, and then the silver dragon, boom, boom, and head. Silver dragon like. So it's like just kind of weirdly, it's this like monstrosity of a phoenix dragon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do my last attack.
Alright, go for it.
So that's a 26.
26 hits.
That's another 10 damage.
Another 10 damage. As you do that last 10 damage, you break the barrier, and kind of like it just falls and like it breaks into like these magical glass pieces. And so that makes the other 2 chains break. And so pretty much everything is now Phoenix but the head. And there's some kind of like... And the dragon kind of looks at itself and doesn't know why the head is still. Like, and you guys don't either. Anyone who wants to can make an insight check.
Hey, I got a nat 20 on
Nat 20.
I got a non-nat 20.
15.
15. A nat 20, a dirty 20, and a 15.
That's pretty good.
Yay! I did
so-
the worst.
With the 15, it's like the barrier broke, and the 15 and the 20. Both of you two noticed that there's something wrong as like the dragon's like moving its head. You see that the dragon's movement is a little bit like limited in its head. And Luke, with that nat 20, but there's that point where you start to see things. As the dragon's head moves, there's some kind of invisible, like you see like something kind of like invisibly move. And you have a guess that there's possibly a final chain that's invisible attached to the dragon's neck.
Because he's high!
That's the thing. The nat 20 is not like I do a really good job. The nat 20 is by luck. I hallucinate the
By
right
your
thing.
highness.
By pure luck and by being high, I hallucinate the correct answer.
Yep.
Awesome.
So Luke, you're up next.
Awesome.
That's the best thing ever.
So the barrier is broken, so you can get the fungal side, but the dragon is still trapped. So it's, do you want to help the dragon or do you want to get the fungal side?
I'm really obsessed with this chain. I don't really care about the dragon or the fungicide. I just want to get rid of that chain. So I'm gonna use my first attack to cast Conjure of Frost.
Is a 7 hit? No.
It's okay.
There goes one action or one attack. For my next attack, I'm gonna do what you said. I'm gonna try to climb up.
You climb up a phoenix body that has the head of a dragon, like a normal sentence would be.
I'm going to use my second attack in my action to hopefully roll better and do an unarmed strike. 13.
13 still misses.
Fury of Blows.
Mm-hmm.
2 more attacks. Unarmed strikes, that is. Come on! 13 again.
13 misses.
And a 25!
25 hits.
Let's go! Max damage 13.
13. This invisible chain, and it's now visible.
It's visible now. Perfect.
Yay!
Next up is the dragon. Phoenix thing. With its talons and at least more mobility, it tries to do this thing where it basically moves its legs all the way to its neck and tries to really weird.
So like
like a dog. I think you're saying like how a dog would scratch themselves with its leg like that.
Yeah, exactly. Use 2 talent attacks. Oh, one of those is a natural 20. The dragon. It also hits with a 16. Dealed a total of, to add everything together, deal a total of 55. What is the type of damage that it is? Because fire damage, because it's fiery talons.
Ooh.
Yeah?
It's still there, but very broken.
How is it still there?
Oh my god.
What do you mean?
What did you do to this thing? See, I see why you had to preface this entire battle with, these are not regular D&D chains.
Yeah, because I'll point this out. Regular D&D chains, you break out of them with a strength save, and they only have 10 damage.
Yes.
So I didn't want this to be like, oh, the dragon's free.
Yeah, no. Who's next?
After the dragon goes, it's Stella.
I'm gonna use my quarterstaff with both hands so it can become a D8. 16.
16, that will hit.
Yay! Seven damage. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 hits.
3. 7.
Does a 17 hit?
17 hits.
You don't need to add anything to it.
2, so 2. Not 20.
Let's go.
Alright.
So 4.
4. Alright,
Who's next?
Atticus, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna firebolt the chain.
1 point!
Who's next?
You're gonna firebolt the chain?
It's a
No,
15.
Atticus. No. Misses.
Okay. So, do I get up there?
Yeah, you get up there.
Alright. Then I'll Fury of Blows.
Go for it.
It's a 9. Which,
Nope.
That's gonna miss. And a 24.
There's 1 hit point left. It should not be taking this long.
Yeah.
24 hits, the chain breaks, and it turns into a phoenix, and it, like
and it
this...
dies, turns into ash, and gets reborn.
We all fall down.
With this new form, it still has the same languages that it speaks, just a phoenix now, and it and breaks through the roof, and you can get to the canister now.
I head for the canister.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes, we saw that.
Yeah, you get the canister, and you bring it outside, and you realize as you've been going through this battle, like I said, like time does obviously in a battle pass through 5 seconds and all that stuff. And but even as you go outside, you do see that a lot of damage has been caused to the surrounding area of brushery and like everything. And so you begin to use the canister, and as you do, this kind of like magical gold sparkly type liquid hits the ground, and it like the ground immediately becomes this luscious green like grass again, and the glitter like expands, and the rest of the islands of Iris become luscious again.
No more gnarly smell.
You feel the peace kind of fully recover in like the area. Everyone's much more peaceful. The dragon comes back down and like says, "Thank you. We will make a new type of test to pass if this is ever necessary again." And takes the canister and kind of just flies away with it. The female centaur like brings you back to your main monastery, the head monastery, where you guys get 400 gold as your reward.
400.
Each?
You saved the entirety of 3 islands that are connected together. And now you guys can explain what happens to your characters afterwards. Going backwards this time starts with Nilla.
She just invested into the monastery.
Great.
For her kitties that she's training, she just gets a whole bunch of stuff for the monastery.
Yeah, you invested there. You also realized, like, you kind of like invested in some new books that help you learn some of the new focus point wording, but you still keep to the key points. And then going to Luke.
Hey, Phil. Let me tell you about this amazing dream I just had. Boom. End credits. That's it.
Yeah. Atticus, last one.
Yeah. So, my guy's just gonna give the gold to some, like, random person on the side of the road?
Yeah, you give the gold to someone else.
Just go back to the monastery.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah, the person takes it back to, like, a village and kind of, like, helps out the village a little bit. Allows them to get someone new to, man the boats. Since it's, they can't keep the people that man the boats. They keep dying. It's like there's a curse on this one family that has just a bunch of Craigs. And with that, we conclude this episode of Twisted One Shots. Thank you for joining us on episode 7. We'll see you guys on episode 8 with even more fun twists. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.